Welcome everybody to this stream for the Asian Cup of round 1 of the season 6 of FRL. So we are here in Flevo for the Dutch Grand Prix. So let's have a look at the track map. As you see, we have 20 corners that the drivers will have to do today for 25 laps. A very tricky circuit. The track hotspots on the left of the screen are mostly the Z section, turn 8 to turn 10, very tricky to get right. Lots of different lines available in the race that we see the drivers how they were going to do that also in the battles. Then of course turn 14 to 15, pretty much flat out, but very tricky to get a good line to stay in the slipstream of the car ahead. And also turn 16 and 17, very crucial to get a very nice run onto the long straight in Flevo, main overtaking opportunity of the race. So talking of the track, we saw some pretty interesting lap times in the practice. Also, it was Dino who led the timetable for a 34.1. Very nice time for him, with Andy 2 tenths behind, but Andy of course raced yesterday in the Europe Cup. So Dino looks like he's going to have a very good margin, as the closest who is racing today is Sassy Imposter in P4 with a 34.8, also a nice lap time for him. So we're going to see a very interesting battle, I say for P2, as P1 looks to be pretty much deal over for Dino. But of course the race is another thing, so let's look at the strategies for the race. The main strategy is of course a one-stop R2 medium, as we saw pretty much all drivers do yesterday in both Europe and American Cup. But also it's possible to do a medium to arts if you want to like recover from bad qualifying, as we saw Yoto do pretty nicely in the American race. And also a two-stop strategy is of course available for the drivers, but it's not very worth to the long pit time that we have here in Flevo. But in the booth today with me is of course Carson, who is also streaming. So if you want to say hi to
Hello.
you guys. And now it's pretty much ready to go racing, as we have only 20 seconds from the start of qualifying, so we can cut to the feed from the track. As we see, the drivers are now practicing. So we're gonna wait a few seconds for the reset of the server. There we go, server is reset, so we are ready to go racing for the qualifying of this round 1. It's like we have pretty good attendance. We have, I think, 15 drivers, so 14, as we see also Andy in the server, to host the race, as the Choppy has disconnected already. So you're gonna see if you can join quickly to take part in the quali.
And
also you're gonna see the weather.
Start. Let's see who will be the person who will get pole today.
Here you go, and we are now ready, as Blaze goes first on track, just ahead of his teammate Sassy Imposter. So they're gonna have clean track for them ahead for this attempt, as everyone else is gonna leave the pit lane behind. As Dino is very slow on track, I think he's letting everyone by. So if he's the main guy to watch out for this qualifying, also I think he has a lot of pace compared to everyone else. It's gonna be interesting to follow him.
Also, we have Leopard reserving for the Scuderia Nord team today. He was pretty fast in the practice time, so we might get to see him close in the top lead fight.
Yeah, did also his debut race for him, as he is main in the Rookie Cup, but he's gonna be reserving for this Asian race. There's also quite a lot of new names here, as they going from the standings that we have on the left-hand side. Black Serpent, of course, is a rookie, but he's not racing in the Rookie Cup compared to Leo, but he's main here in Asia, so it's going to be interesting to see what he can do for the Mofonica Blue Agidas racing team. Also, Ben Inton as username. Pretty interesting race in America yesterday. He had a very good first half, but he kind of fell off in the second half, of course. First race for him, so it's a very good experience for him. Now he's going to be pretty close to Consti ahead, so I'm not sure how they're going to deal with this traffic, as Consti also is very close to Sassi.
Let's see what Blaze
so
can do on his first sector.
Yeah, of course they're going to be the first one to cross, or going to follow the purple sectors, as everyone is, of course, going to be going green on the time screen.
Also have some pretty well-known drivers here. Pro Bono winning the D3 East Asian Cup last season. Also now back in Asia. Blaze going for the Snell sector. Of course, that's purple. No one behind him looked to be as quick as him here. ERT already resetting his lap. Probably already messed up in turn 1.
Yeah, also that is also a very tricky corner to get right. For not really turn 1, but turn 2 and turn 3. So he probably cut it there. As Blaze is gonna keep his purple. So he's the first one to cross the first sector, and looks like he's gonna keep it for now. As he goes also purple in the second sector, of course.
Dino Monkey
yes,
now
Dino
takes
now is
away
purple, of course.
purple in sector 1.
Yeah. So you're gonna see someone can challenge the second sector for Blazer now. Looks like he's
difficult last corner there, real last corner.
Yeah.
Now no one also seems to be improving Blaze his purple sector in sector 2. Dino Monkey might do it. He is of course well known from last race in Europe for being quite fast. 35.2, not a bad starting time.
Yeah, good bunker for him as Sassi goes P2, is going to be snatched by Ben into P2 as now everyone is crossing the line. Pro Bono goes purple in the last sector as Das goes purple in the
Leon also crosses the line, goes to P2.
Goes P2, nice, very nice time for Leon.
The next person is Dino Monkey. He will be crossing the line in 10 seconds or so. Has a purple sector 1, a green sector 2. So that might spell professional pole for him.
Here you go, now he's going to the line. Can he get pole position? No, he goes only to P3.
Didn't
he has a lot
get
of margin.
sector 3 purple. Probably not the best of his laps. Let's see what he can do for the rest of this qualifying.
And now RT is going to be crossing the line once again to start his second attempt after his aborted first one, as he has a bit of traffic ahead of Leon exited the pit lane. Let's see, he gets a very good turn 2 now going to turn 3 and turn 4, staying tight, braking at 75 meters for the chicane. Pretty wide, let's see if he can keep it on the track. Yes, so it looks like a pretty clean first sector for now, maybe not the fastest that we can see. And now also staying tight in this long left corner, now going to the next section. So overall clean lap for now, is going to take a middle line, goes pretty wide for the second section, and this is going to cost him a bit of exit speed, but he's still keeping it very clean. Now going to turn 11. Let's see how much speed can he keep in. I think it was kind of slow, but still clean. Now let's see into turn 12 and 13.
As more and more drivers are going to cross the finish line to start their second hot lap of the day, we will be able to see what Blaze will be able to improve on and other top drivers.
Yeah, now onto the last 2 corners before the long straight. Kind of wide, very wide there. This is gonna cost him a few tenths. And now we'll see where he can place now, going to the line for his, say, second attempt, as he now crosses the line to go P10. So clean but kind of slow lap for him. Let's see if he's gonna have margin to improve, as now we see some sectors for the second attempt. So it's like Blaze and Ben are not improving in the first sector, while Kuan, Pro Bono, Sassi, and pretty much everyone else is doing so. And also Chip is now doing a lap, and then now onto the straight. Let's see where he can place himself.
Let's watch Sassi Imposter 22:44, as he was pretty fast on the practice times in this last.
Chippy goes P7.
he might be able to
So
get
good luck.
a top 5 qualifying position, which would be pretty good for him, as he wasn't the top driver last season.
Dino is not improving in the first sector, but I think he did a mistake in the second sector previously, so we're gonna see if he can correct that. He does a very good snail section. As Ben resets from P5, so Kuan now will have a chance of getting that place as he now deals with the last corner.
Sussy Imposter crosses the line to go P6. Then Consti will follow him to not improve in position.
And here comes Kuan to the 9. Can he improve? Yes, he does. Goes to P2. Provisional front row start for him as Dino goes Papa in the second sector, so looks like he corrected his earlier mistake. He now goes kind of wide, but he still keeps on track, so this is still a good attempt for him. He's surely gonna challenge plates for pole position here unless he does a very big mistake.
And he corner cuts.
I think he corner cut it. Yeah,
and he
he's gonna
the
reset.
lap. That's
so one last chance for Dino.
And Leopard going through the past pit lane, going to be able to improve from what he is now. No, he has no time so far, so this will be a 12th position. Him being able to do one more lap.
Yeah. With just over 2 minutes left in this qualifying session.
As Blaze is going to line up for his last hot lap now.
Yeah. You see someone can cross the line in time to reset for a last attempt. It's like no one can. So the first one to cross the line for a last attempt is going to be Leon, who is now crossing the line to start. So he's maybe going to have another attempt on worn tires, but I don't think he's going to improve with those tires later.
Also going for the last lap, still looking to improve. And behind him is Mjonnington, who can be quite fast. He's quite new, so it's unpredictable where he will finish. That's unfortunate. The professional pole leader disconnects. He was lagging when I was spectating him in Sector 1.
Yeah.
So
he needs to rejoin quickly or he will lose his position.
Yeah, that would be quite a shame.
As Leon is not improving the first sector, and Dusty is doing so. As he goes very wide to the snake section, let's see if he can put a nice line into the second part. Not really good for him. I think he lost around 2/10 there.
Does Dissel behind him with a improvement in Sector 1. Now going to what I think is the hardest corner in the entire track. It's really difficult to nail. It's slow, but there is a certain amount of speed you should be able to carry through there, which is hard to do every time.
As Dino is now waiting on the last corner, I don't think he wants to know that map, so that is qualifying done for him. As Leon has done a mistake, so I don't think he's going to improve. So let's look at Dust if he can snatch away some position ahead of him.
Going to the line now, with the last flowing corner to go. Looks to be improving in both two sectors. What will he get out of this lap? He goes to the line, goes P2. Great lap by him.
Yeah, indeed.
Also behind him, among us, Sassy Imposter goes to P5. Pretty good time for him as well. Who is the next one? The other Sassy Imposter is going to line, is now P8. It looks to be improving in both two sectors. He goes P7, one position. Then
as Dino has managed to start a lap. So let's see if he can get
goes to P11. And then we have Kuan not improving in either sectors. Will smash the wall. And Dino goes purple in Sector 1. Pro Bono goes to pole. We didn't even expect that.
Whoa.
35.0. That's a solid time.
Really nice time for him.
He didn't improve in Sector 2, so that was pretty surprising. But he pulled off a purple Sector 3 and a green Sector 1, which was clearly enough to beat Blaze his current time. And ERT crossing the line. Also Leopard going to the line to wanting to improve. Goes to P9. Then the last two drivers on track are Dust Dissel and Dino Monkey. Dust doesn't look to be improving, but Dino has purple Sector 1 and green Sector 2.
Dino corner cut.
Oh,
qualifying
that
time
will
for him.
be really unfortunate. He looked really fast, but now he will be starting P7 for the race.
And that is going to be the last one to cross the line. To not improve
Do
and
not
crash
cross the
car.
line.
And this is qualifying done. So we have Pro Bono on pole position once again. So it looks like a repeat from Division 3 Eastern of last season. We have Blaze Cap in P2. He managed to rejoin on time. It's going to be Dustin Kuan in the second row for Scuderia Squadra. Then third row with Leon and Among Us Assassin Imposter. Then Dino, Sassy, Leo, and Ben completed the top 10. That's why the top 10 we have 3P, RT, Consti, and Black Serpent closing the grid. It was a pretty close qualifying with only Alpha 10 between the drivers. Do you think it's going to be, sorry, Alpha 2nd between the top 10? So do you think it's going to be a close race too?
We might see a close battle, but it really depends on if Dino Monkey is able to pull away quickly on the start. I think it's a fair playing field here for the rest of the drivers, at least. The tire choice here clearly is hard. One driver, Chirpy Bird, is on the medium tire.
Mediums.
Let's see how that will work out for him. Yoto, we saw him do it as well. He gained a lot of positions.
Here we go, the lights are on.
By doing the undercuts.
3, 4, 5 lights for Asia in Flevo. We are ready to go underway.
The lights
and we are
off.
racing. That's a slow start by Among Us Imposter behind. It's going to be passed by a couple of cars already going into turn 1.
Pro Bono.
Let's see, Pro Bono leading the pack now with the slipstream into turn 2. Who's going to get the lead? Like Pro Bono is going to stay there. But we have a 3 wide behind for P2. Let's see who is going to be ahead of it as Blaze goes slightly wide. So that's going to have a chance of attacking him as Pro Bono does a slight mistake into turn 4. He's going to cost you the position from Dust, who takes the lead of the race. There's also Leon Cornecats behind, so it's going to be now down in P11. As he's starting from P5, so not a good start for him.
Chirpy has a great start from P11 to P6 already, with purple sector 1, as expected from him. Guan now going into P1 for the last turn of the snail. Has a really good exit. And Dino Monkey already in P5, close behind.
Yeah, really close battles here. Chippy is using those medium tires to the best. That he has
goes little wide on the
gained
exit.
5 positions. Yeah, very close battles. As Leon has gone past. Oh, Leo is very wide.
And he's
massive
off the
mistake
track.
For Leo is going to be down.
Loses a few positions.
11, maybe V12. Yes.
V12, yeah. The fight.
Huge mistake by Leo there.
Chirpy already in P5 passes Dino Monkey. He really wants to be able to go in that front pack. It's really important for him to do that with the medium tires. Because on the hards it will be a very long stint, which he will probably get passed by on a few accounts by separate drivers. And Chirpy takes
Chirpy gets the
fastest lap, 36.85.
Yeah, great start by Chirpy. And he's now battling for the lead.
The front pack is now made up of 6 drivers, as 2 has found their way to get back into the pack with Slipstream. Yannington and Among Us Sassy Imposter with a 2 group right behind them. Let's see who is the fastest here in Sector 1 in lap 2. It looks like
now it's Scuderia Squadra 1-2 coming to the snail. Kwon very wide there. Let's see if we can use that line to have a good exit from this section. Nearly good, but it's still very close. As Dino now is trying to catch up to this group. He is only 7/10 behind the lead, so still very close between all drivers here. It looks like the break is between RT and Leon. There is a 1 second gap as Leon is being passed by Leo, who has done the massive mistake earlier in the race on the last lap. So as Leon goes down to P12, so Leon is struggling a lot with these hard tires right now.
Chirpy now up into P2, really making use of those medium tires.
Chirpy Konekats is now behind Dino.
Just like I jinxed him. He will be able to catch up.
The commentator curse once again. And 3 wide for the lead ahead. Now closing the line to begin lap 3, maybe 4 wide.
Yannington takes the fastest lap. 35.5, which will stay probably for the next few laps until the pit stop starts. Jonathan close behind. He looked to be having shaked off Among Us, who probably corner cut it. He lost a tremendous amount of time.
Yeah.
Also now getting passed by ERT. Blaze goes really wide on the outside.
Now to the next section, Quan trying an inside line, but it's gonna become a downside line as he
As
goes
Chirpy takes the inside
wide.
corner cut there.
Yeah, very fortunate.
Blaze
But he's
also
still there.
falls behind. P7 now has a slight gap to make up now from this. Chirpy purple sector 1 as he might improve the current fastest lap.
See his Dino goes wide, but he's gonna keep the speed going.
Leo Barter overtaking Among Us as the imposter.
Ooh, that's
For
very
P9.
wide. Still very close battle as Blaze has done a massive corner cut and he's now gonna be losing the slipstream. So he's now gonna be under attack of RT and Leon behind. As also Dust and Ben, I think, connected at the last corners because they lost 8 tenths from the leading group.
Blaze has now lost the slipstream to the front pack, which is quite unfortunate for him, as he only started in the top group, so
yeah.
That is not ideal for him. He now needs to rely on the people behind him to make him catch up again.
And RT now takes the lead of the chasing group, 2.6 seconds behind Ben. So they're gonna need a lot of work to at least think of being in the battle for the lead, as RT goes very wide there and he's gonna be passed by Leo.
Kuan takes a really wide line and then corner cuts as well, so that the wide line can't pay off for him on the exit. Now down to P4.
And
Blaze
going into
looks to
turn
have
12.
made a mistake, now down to P13.
Yeah.
Both Trukanoko
massive mistake by
cars
Black
have
there.
dropped down rather dreadfully here. P13 and P14 for both of them.
Leo has gained 1.2 seconds in one sector on Ben. So it's like Leo has a good pace right now, but he needs the slipstream to be in the battle. He just needs 3 tenths to get it. So let's see if he can get those 3 tenths in the last corner. Ooh, very wide there. Risks the corner cut and it's not going to work out as he goes wide. So he's going to try to get the slipstream maybe in the next lap, as Dust also now has risk of losing the slipstream, as he is 1.3 seconds behind Dino. And now the battle for the lead is still very close, but between 4 drivers, as Dust and Ben looks like they are losing time and time. As also there is a small break in the chasing group between Among Us as Imposter and Leon, and there is a 1.2 second gap. So let's see if Leon can catch back up to
what has happened to
the
Blaze.
P7
He's
group.
now 14 seconds down on Kuhan. He was 9 seconds down. What has happened? That must have been one massive corner cut, or he went completely off track. Chirpy now really wide on the exit of Snail. Loses a bit of time on the top 3.
As now Dust is 8 tenths behind Chippy. So good job by Dust to catch up there.
Drops 2 places now, as they are heading into the last corner of sector 2. Leading group now consists of Pro Bono, Dino Monkey, and Kuhan Gizmo. As Chirpy is trying to catch back up, has a huge chance to catch back up on the main straight here. His medium tires should still be much better than the hards at this point of the race.
Yeah, there is not a huge drop in the tires, so you can go very long, I think, until lap 10, 11. So you're gonna see what Chippy can do here. Now there is a very close battle for P7, P8, and P9. So that's also interesting to watch out later for the race for big points positions.
5 tenths on the main straight with that slipstream. can be quite powerful if there's none of the drivers ahead of you who have massive slipstream. Otherwise, it can be quite hard. Dynamonkey and Chirpy going quite wide here
Yeah.
as they enter the snail section. Kuan again with the wide setup. Then
Still very close as Dust is still barely hanging on to the slipstream of the leading group. Is 1.4 seconds behind, coming to turn 12. It's gonna be going wide. So let's see if he can stay in the slipstream after sector 3, which is onto the main straight, which is the crucial part of the slipstream train. As the battle for the lead is still very close as Chippy and Dino both go very wide. Dino goes nearly to the wall.
Track.
Yeah.
We've seen that happen to
Chippy goes wide.
a number of drivers in the European race as well. It's quite a hard corner to nail, but the longer the race progresses, the harder that corner becomes, because on the start of the race it's full speed, but later in the stage it will be a braking zone.
Yeah, indeed. As we are 1/3 of the way for this race, lap 7 out of 25. So now if some drivers are gonna be having difficulty with the wear, we're gonna notice now, as Dust now definitely lost slipstream on the leading group, as he is 2 seconds now, 1.7. So Knight sets it from him from the chicane. It is still kind of far, so it looks like it's gonna be a 2-man battle between Dust and Ben for P5.
Leopard are really closing the third group now on a 3.8 second deficit towards Mionington on P6. As Dust Distel is back into slipstream range, 1.4 seconds now drops down to 1.6. He has to nail these last few corners so he can get slipstream on the main straight if he wants to catch back up.
Yeah, the leading group is kind of separated right now. There is 7/10 between each driver as Chippy goes wide, so that it's gonna be helping Dust behind. And it goes wide once again, so this is gonna be a huge help for Dust. It's now 9/10 behind Chippy, so it's gonna have a very big slipstream coming onto the main straight. As Leo is still catching to Ben, the gap is now 3.3. So let's see if he can keep this momentum going and maybe join the battle for at least P6.
Dust now having the slipstream on Chirpy as Chirpy dropped down 1.2 seconds. I think he might have corner cut it.
Oh, Kuan goes very wide from the lead. That
yes.
is gonna be huge for him.
Really
Let's
wide.
see if he can stay in the slipstream of Dino 1.2. So it looks like Probono and Dino are currently running away from this race.
Well, Chirpy still on the medium tires and Kuhan and Dust right behind them.
Very wide entry from Chip. Is gonna try to do the switchback on the exit of the corner.
They have
it's gonna slightly work.
Kuhan, and they might be able to connect easily, or not. It really depends on how fast Dynamonkey can make these hard tires at this stage of the race. But this is his chance to get away together with Pro Bono. Otherwise, it looks like Kuhan, Chirpy, and Dust will be able to catch up. Mionington also in the slipstream of Dust, which connects him to the leading slipstream train.
Yeah, barely into the 16 on 1.5. So let's see if he can do a nice third sector to stay in the slipstream. Because if he loses the slipstream, it's going to be under attack of the group from Leo to Among Us, who have a pretty good pace right now. They're keeping the gap consistent to the leading group, but of course they lost around 4 seconds due to mistakes and I would say also pace.
Yeah, if Mionington doesn't get this slipstream from this front
pack, he lost his slipstream.
He will be able to stay on his position, and Leopard might gain on him because there's a slipstream group of 3 people with there on P7 for P7.
As the pit window for the medium tires is now open, so we're gonna see when Chippy is gonna dive into the pit lane to switch to the other compound of tire.
Logically, the hard should now be faster than the mediums. It's I think my opinion is the slipstream makes sure that Chirpy can still hang on, But if Dust wants to catch it back up, he really needs to overtake Chirpy as soon as possible.
Yeah, as Chippy receives a pit call by Andy in the chat. So we're gonna see if he's gonna follow this advice from Andy.
Kuhan corner cuts again in Snail. Really has an unfortunate bond with this corner. Can't make anything right there. Has corner cut it a lot of times already here. Now on 1.2 seconds. As in the back for the last few points, Consti overtakes Black Serpent.
And now Kuan is still barely in the slipstream, 1.5 flat.
It looks like Kuhan has lost the slipstream currently. He really needs to nail this corner if he wants to have that slipstream. But it looks hard because Pro Bono also has slipstream from Dino slightly. He
1.4.
does have 1.4, so...
Chibi goes into the pit lane to pit.
The first pitter of the race. He's the only one on mediums, so it will be a lone race for him from now on until the others decide to pit as well. Has a decent pit stop, nothing wrong about it, and is on his way now going to last position.
As Kuan is still hanging on to Pro Bono and Dino for the lead, as Pro Bono does a slight mistake in the chicane and he's gonna be losing half a second.
Yeah, now Dino is now the leader of the race with a 7/10 gap to Pro Bono. Kuan not in the slipstream, oh well, barely in the slipstream range.
Very wide from Kuan there.
Yeah, that seems to be his setup for the Snail section. It's not one that we see often. Most people try to go for as much on the inside as they can.
Yeah, indeed. As Ben is losing so much time now on the leading group, is 2.2 seconds behind.
Mjannington still being able to keep that gap to Leoparder behind. 3.8 seconds. Dust on 1 second of Kuhan. Kuhan barely hanging on in the slipstream. As Leon has overtaken Consti back for P10.
Yeah, very close battle both for P9 and P6.
Yeah, four-way fight for P9, which...
Let's see, Kuan is still in the slipstream, so very nice work from Kuan.
Dino Monkey looking to be weaving on the straights, trying to make sure Kuhan loses the slipstream from the front back.
Now they're losing lots of time. The P6 group is losing so much time. They lost 1 second on the last lap. So it looks like they're battling a bit too much right now to be able to challenge at least Ben for P5. Kuan very wide once
really
again.
Wide again. Might be a setup, but
this is gonna work.
I don't think that is the ideal line.
Yeah, lost a bit.
Corner.
Pro Bono is very close to Dino now for the lead of the race. Dino goes like slightly wide.
Pro Bono and Dino have pulled away from the number 3 and 4. As Mjannington is desperately trying to get to the P3 fight.
See what Pro Bono can do now onto the third sector, very close, only 2 tenths separating them. As Pro Bono tries to take a tighter line, as Dino goes slightly wide. I see that it's gonna work out on the speed out of the last corner now. It's like Dino is gonna keep the position, but now Pro Bono is gonna have a huge slipstream onto the main straight. I see if Dino is gonna try to break the slipstream. Now it's like he's staying to the inside, so by the average time for him, as Pro Bono goes to the outside, not taking the slipstream for now. And now going into turn 2.
Dust and Kuhan now fighting for P3 and P4. If they keep it like this, they would be the Constructor Champions leader for Scuderia Squadra.
Yeah. Solid race for them as Bruno takes the lead of the race with a very nice chicane.
Takes the wide setup so he can be more on the inside. Dino Monkey going wide because of his
very nicely done by Pro Bono.
Oh, as he lags a little bit.
Yeah, a bit of lag there.
Pro Bono going for the wider setup, now gets in front of him, and he gets the better exit. Jannington really close to Dust right now, 1.7 seconds. If he can close that gap by a few more tenths, he will be able to catch up if he can hang on. This fight for P6 still really close. ERT, Among Us, and Leopard are trying to all get that position. It's a really big difference in terms of points for P6 or P8. Dust going a little bit wide on the exit of turn 14.
Yeah.
Entering turn 15 now. Dust goes with a wide line that will lose him some time, but it won't matter. He has slipstream down the main straight. Dino and Pro Bono now side by side for the lead. Pro Bono going for the inside in turn 1 and Dino the outside. Both have a good exit out of turn 2.
As Ben is losing lots of time right now, 3.6 seconds is the gap to Dust. So Zach is struggling a bit on these worn tires.
Yeah, the pit window will probably be in 1, 2, or 3 laps. It looks like these hard tires will only last for around 14 to 16 laps is the pit window for them.
As the battle for the lead is still raging on between Pro Bono and Dino. Only 3 tenths separating them. See, Pro Bono is still behind, trying to find places to pass Dino, but it looks like when he does so, he cannot stay ahead for long. So it's going to be interesting to follow this battle also with the strategies, because the pit window is pretty much open for the hard tires.
Let's spectate if anyone is going to attempt an undercut. Pro Bono or Dino Monkey might go for the gamble to get loose of each other. Don't think they will yet, maybe next lap, but one might try to bait the other. As we see Dino trying to bait Pro Bono. Yeah. Pro Bono not buying any of it. He knows what strategy he is gonna go on, and he's not gonna follow.
Someone went into the pits. It was Ben from P5. He goes into the pit,
trying to go for the undercut.
Leo and RT are also into the pits.
Ben trying to go for the undercut. Already. He was losing on Kuhan and Dust, but so this might be able to grant him a connection to the top 3 and 4. Leopard ERT.
Let's look at the pits. It's like pretty fast from Consti. Ben. Also Leo.
Consti
nice
also
pit also from him. Let's see if RT is gonna stay with him. Side by side. Also Consti is into the pits. And it is not gonna help Among Us as impossible because he's out alone on these worn hard tires.
All on the mediums, the pitters right now. Trying to catch up as Chirpy did a great undercut. Now 7 seconds loose of Jannington. But
he's not gonna
now
have
has
the
medium tires and the fresher tires, so that gap will quickly drop down.
Yeah, Chippy is actually the virtual leader of the race. He's 22.5 seconds behind Pro Bono right now. So when Pro Bono pits, he's gonna be behind Chippy. So very nice call for him. I think the medium to hard strategy is the best call right now.
I think Dino Monkey or Pro Bono, they're both looking to struggle with the tires at the moment. I think one of them will attempt to undercut. Or they might go both on lap 15 or 16, is my best guess. Pro Bono not going... Oh, Pro Bono going into the pit lane, juke Dino Monkey and going straight, which was a risky strategy. Pro Bono going for the undercut in lap 14.
Yeah.
No one else Among Us Sussy Imposter 2 pits as well. Behind there we have Sussy Imposter also pitting, Blazed pitting, Leon pitting. Black Serpent going
Chippy now onto the main straight. Where is he gonna be with Pro Bono? I think he's gonna be close out to the pits. Pro Bono into the pits now. Here comes Chippy.
For the lead on the inside, and he takes the lead currently. Pro Bono close behind.
Let's see how much he can stay ahead with these hard tires. Now Pro Bono is gonna have fresh mediums.
Dust
very
and
nice goal from
Kuhan
Chippy.
looking to make an overcut on Mjonnington, who is
Yes.
actually in front of them as it stands right now, if they pit.
Yeah, Among Us lost 1 second staying out on the art, so very nice, I would say, in lap for Among Us as imposter because he didn't lose so much time. So, as Blaze has passed Leon out of the pits, so also very nice in lap for Blaze. And now Pro Bono and Chippy have traffic of Black Sabbath still yet to pit. So let's see if they can pass the car ahead, which is obviously slower right now on the worn hard tires. And looks like Pro Bono has done not so very quickly. Now Chippy is stuck behind his teammate. Let's see if he can notice and maybe letting go. Chippy goes wide, they're still battling. This is costing Chippy some time, but looks like Chippy is now ahead, coming to the last 2 corners. As Dino and Dust are into the pits. Let's check Dino's speed.
Kuhan going straight. I would
Kind of slow from Dino.
I didn't expect Kuhan to go straight. I thought they would use team orders with their own team.
Yeah, Cancer One and Chippy well clear of Dino.
Together.
As Dino is gonna now be going onto the track and very behind, very far from Chippy actually. He's 3 seconds behind Pro Bono, not 4 seconds behind Pro Bono and 3 seconds behind Chippy.
Black Serpent still staying out on those old hards. Will he try to do an hard to soft? I don't think we will see it. Maybe he wants to have the freshest medium tires on the end of the stint.
Now the only 2 cars left to beat, of course, are Black Sabbath and Kuan. And looks like Kuan is gonna be with Dust when he exits the pits, so battling for P7. And Black Sabbath is gonna be down in last.
Kuhan pitting a lap later might be able to grant Leo to get a connection to P7 out of that, because Kuhan will of course lose a bit of time on it, so he will probably be a second behind Dust, and that would be enough to give Leopard a slipstream towards the top 7.
Yeah, that is gonna be interesting to follow.
Pro Bono setting a purple sector 2.
1.6 behind Ben.
Pro Bono game.
So we might have a very interesting battle on our ends here. As Kuan is into the pits.
Going into the pits. Pro Bono already was gaining rapidly
onto the grass.
On Kuhan. He already closed 2 seconds in the last lap. Now might go for a new fastest lap with a purple sector 2.
Black Sabbath into the pits. So it's gonna clear P5.
Does not set
Pro Bono takes now the lead of the race.
Chirpy 1.1 behind and Dino Monkey 2.7. Black Serpent also pitting. He also goes for the mediums.
And Kuan is behind Leon and RT.
Blaze now setting the fastest lap of the race. 35.2. It's impressive lap on the mediums. Kuan now in a battle with Leopard on the fresher tires, probably wanting to get back through the field and close the gap to Dust Thistle. With the newer tires, he might be able to catch Dust and then to work together with Dust to gain P4 back. As the ideal way of getting back to them is passing Chirpy before the end of the race.
And it's gonna be also a nice train for Leo and RT to catch back up to a Ben. So gonna be interesting to follow. As looks like Kuan is still stuck behind Leon for now. So I think he's still trying to work out how to work with these medium fresh tires.
Dino Monkey closing the gap to Chirpy really quickly. Now a green sector 1, purple sector 2. It looks to be going for the fastest lap here, as he has passed Chirpy, who is suffering from tire degradation already compared to the latest pitters.
As Leo is 2.1 seconds behind Dust, so Leo is pushing very hard right now. He has also a nice pace as Dino takes the fast lap of the race.
Only barely improves on Blaze his last lap. As Consti disconnects, he was fighting for P10. That's unfortunate. He could have grabbed some points for his team there.
Now Leo goes wide. As Dust now has caught up to Ben for P4.
Guan now on the front of the little group they have with Leoparder and ERT side by side, and he has the fresher tire, so him catching up to Dust is the most likely out of that group. That's a nice inside
as
line.
RT goes slightly wide behind.
Guan still going for that wide setup. Does look like he can keep it consistently at the moment on these
Goes wide
medium
though.
tires.
Yeah, lots of grip for Kuan.
Dino
But
Monkey
you also get
also
a very good exit.
closing the gap to Pro Bono, now went down from 2 seconds to 1.7 since last lap.
Yeah, as there was a switch of position. I think that was Sassy Imposter going past Blades for P10.
And noticed we have Dust Diesel in this in the slipstream of Mionington already. 1 second between the both of them.
As Leo goes wide, as RT is barely hanging on from this group, so even with the slipstream, he's not gaining much. So RT looks like he's struggling a bit with the pace right now, compared to Leo and Kuan ahead. As Dino now in the slipstream of Pro Bono, 1.3 seconds is the gap into turn 2.
Dust now on 3/10 to Mionington, having found the connection to P4. Trying to now go for P3, of course, together with Mionington, wanting to overtake Chirpy, who is on slightly old hards at the moment. It will be harder to catch up for Dust and Mionington the longer the race goes on, because the hards, of course, degrade way less than the medium tires do.
There was a double mistake by Kuan and Leo, as they both lost a lot of time, and now RT has gone past at least Leo and is very close to Kuan for P6.
Dino Monkey now on the back of Pro Bono, really having closed that 2 second gap pretty quickly. Now it's being 3/10 only.
As you know, onto the last sector. Now he's trying alternative lines to find some space on Pro Bono, but he goes wide. Stays very tight and keeps the speed going. Still very close between the two drivers. As Dino goes wide, that is going to compromise its exit. But he is still there as Leo goes past RT. And he's losing time on Kuan. So it's like Kuan now is having the tire advantage to his favor and running away from Leo and RT.
Kuan not being able to catch up to Dust in front. Still losing time on him, actually. So the overcut didn't quite work for Kuan thus far.
And now Dino is very close to Pro Bono, only 110 into the chicane. So he's going to have the best exit. It's like it was on par between the two drivers, but now Dino's going to have the steep stream onto the long left turn 7. See, they both stay pretty tight, and it's going to be side by side onto the next section. Breaks earlier from Pro Bono. It's going to take a tighter line, but looks like Dino takes the better line and takes the lead of the race with it.
Mionington thus closing really quickly to Chirpy, as he has lost a second between each other. Can they get in the slipstream this lap already? It could be quite possible, as Chirpy now enters turn 11.
And now Among Us Imposter has caught up to RT and Leon, who are struggling a lot with the pace.
Ooh, Kuan getting really close to Dust Diesel in 1.8 seconds. We might see some team play here from Dust going off the gas a little bit, so Kuhan can catch up to the front of the field here.
It is very close for P4. It's also Ben is catching up to Chippy, 1.8 seconds. So he has 5 laps to maybe battle for the podium position.
Dust really gaining on Mionington, but it does look like there's a big playoff in the team here. Kuan, of course, on the fresher tires. Dust goes a little off track there in turn 2. Pretty bad exit for him. Kuan on 1.6 seconds as they come to the more technical section of the circuit. Kuhan will probably be able to gain due to his fresher tires.
And Dino takes a wider line into the snail as he's battling with Pro Bono. And looks like it's gonna be just like Pro Bono gets a good exit out of the snail. And now coming into turn 12 with the slipstream. Let's see if we can pull attack already. Breaks later, but it goes wide. So losing a bit of time, but still there, very close between the drivers. As Ben has caught up to Chippy.
As the
And it's
battle
only
for
8
P3
tenths.
is really spicing up, Kuhan, Dust, Mjonnington, and Chirpy all in the fight for that position, that last podium spot, which will grant them a good haul of points for their team. Dust and Kuhan both pitted later compared to all compared to both drivers in front of them. So they will have that advantage. Kuhan on 8 tenths of Dust, Dust on 6 tenths of Mjonnington. Mjonnington now loses the slip on the main straight towards Chirpy on 1.6
And now the waving
seconds.
starts by Dino trying to break the slipstream as we are 4 laps to go in this Asian Cup race, round 1. As Pro Bono goes wide, but not as much as Dino did. So still very close between the drivers. As Ben now is 1.4 behind Chippy, so a bit of a mistake, but looks like he's gaining with the grip out of turn 3. It's going to be very difficult for Chippy to keep this position. You see what he can do as Pro Bono is still in the slipstream of Dino. Onto the snail, Pro Bono goes slightly wide. Let's see if he can switch back onto the second part of the snail. Noise just lost a bit of time there. Let's check out the exit. It's going to be 8 tenths. So still well in the slipstream, but losing a bit of time. As Among Us pulls the double pass on both Leo and RT, who are side by side onto the snail section. Who's going to get the better exit? It's going to be Among Us with the 1 lap fresher tires going ahead of both of them.
The fight for P3 now getting really close as they're getting into mere tenths and not seconds anymore. We will see the overtaking from Mjonnington first, probably, as he's 7 tenths behind on Trippy, who will be trying to keep his P3 position, but his tires are getting worse as the race goes on.
Yeah, as there was a massive mistake, I think, by Ben, because he lost 2 positions. And he's now behind both Scuderia Squadra cars, so now battling very close to each other, side by side. Now coming onto the line, both getting the slipstream of Chippy ahead. Now we have 3 laps to go, as also Pro Bono is closing on Dino, it's not over for the lead yet.
Kuan into turn 2 on the outside of Chirpy, has a good exit right on his tail now. Looks like they could be able to overtake in turn 4 and 5 and 6. Do they have the better exit? They do. They both look to be overtaking Chirpy here. Chirpy with the wide setup due to his worn hards. He will not be able to take that close inside line that the Scuderia Squadra cars are being able to keep. Mjonnington now on 1.8 seconds from Chirpy, which is not ideal for him. It looks like it's falling back to the first half of the race, where he was also barely outside the slipstream range the entire time.
Yeah, as also RTS lost a bit of time from the group for P7, so it's gonna be a 2-man battle between Leo and Among Us. As also Black Sapper has got up to Leon for the last point of this race, so it's gonna also be interesting to follow this battle. As I say, that also SAS Imposter goes into the slipstream range of Blaze, as Dust and Kuan now are P3 and P4. Ooh, massive mistake by Chippy behind, goes into the wall. So that is pretty much his race over for the podium. We're now going to be battling with Ben, but he corner cuts again. And Ben goes past.
Looks like he will be able to keep P6, which is still a great race, as he started P11 on the start of the race. Dino Monkey did pull a gap right before the main straight of 1.1 second. Now back to 8 tenths of a second.
And with 2 laps to go, the battle for the lead is still raging between Pro Bono and Dino. The gap is now 9 tenths of a second coming into turn 5. And looks like it's going to be staying there as Dino is doing all he can to run away from Pro Bono, but Pro Bono is hanging on in the slipstream, waiting for a mistake from Dino to take back that lead of the race as Kuan and Dust are side by side. teammates battling for the last podium position. Kuan on fresher tires. Kuan goes very wide. Let's see if he can switch back on the second part. Yes, it does, but it's still that. That's got a very good exit actually off of the snail. So it's gonna keep the P3 for now, but they're still side by side. On to turn 12. Who's gonna get the better line? I think Kuan is gonna get it with the fresher tires, but it's pretty much on par between the two cars. Now to turn 13.
As Among Us, Sussy Imposter has overtaken Leoparder for a quick brief second.
Yeah, as Blaze and Sassy caught up to RT, so RT is struggling a lot with this odd, I think are tires, yes? Or mediums?
Mediums.
Wait, no, it's mediums, yeah.
Chirpy
So let's see
trying
if
to
he
keep his
can hang
position.
on to P9.
Chirpy trying to keep his 6th position, which seems likely like
Last
he
lap,
would
white flag.
keep his 6th position unless he makes a huge mistake here in the final lap.
Proboni is 1.4 behind Dino, so Dino's like he has this win in the bag. But Probono is still there, waiting for any opportunity. As Kuan does still battling into turn 12.
Probono
sorry,
now
turn
outside
2.
slipstream range, but it really is important to see who will get the final podium step for the team. It will be
Blaze goes past RT.
If they stay like this, they will take the Constructors' Championship, which is a massive deal for the Scuderia Squadra team.
Yeah, not a very good season for them in season 5. So it's like they can do well in this season if they keep going like this. As Kuan goes still wide, keeping
Look like
that.
Yonnington has made a mistake. Chirpy right on the back of him now, on the older hards. Will he be able to grab back that P5 position?
As Leon has lost the P12 position, so it's gonna be now the last car in this race. Onto the last sector, Dino has 2 seconds from Probono, so it's like it's gonna bring this on, but we're gonna follow the battle for the last podium position between the two Scuderia Squadra cars. Still very close. Kuan is just ahead of Dust right now, but that goes slightly wide. But it's gonna have the slipstream again, slightly wide by Dust.
On the outside.
Onto the last corner.
Kuan with the better tires.
Dust is wide.
As Kuan, it looks like Kuan will take it. Dino now winning the race.
Dino wins.
Pro Bono P2. Who will be getting that P3 position? It looks like
Here
it's
comes
for
Dust.
Kuhan. It will be
and
very close.
It's
Kuhan.
Kuhan.
Going for P5, Mionington. And then Chirpy Bird in P6. Now for P7. It looks like Leopard has a big gap to Among Us from 6 tenths. Then after that, Blaze and Sussy Imposter. ERT having a really bad end of the race, going all the way down to P11. Black Serpent rounding out the point scorers, and Leon coming home in last. Well,
so that's a win for Dino after losing it by basically nothing in Euro Cup from Andy.
Great performance
and
from
that's his first win.
A lot of drivers. Great finishing time, pretty fast. Chirpy did a good undercut. That was the race. Thank you guys for watching.
Yeah. Thank you for watching. We're gonna see